Is your lack of self-esteem holding you back? If yes, then you're not alone. Everyone has some doubts about themselves. Nobody's born with limitless self-esteem. If it bothers you, which it most likely will in some cases, then that's fine. There are things you can do to help yourself and to gain more self-esteem. Coming up are 8 tips to help boost your self-esteem. What's going on, guys? Richard Rozza with the Personal Development Channel, and today I'll be going through 8 simple tips to help you boost your self-esteem. If you haven't already, then please hit that subscribe button, and if at any point you like what you see, then give it a little like. Let's get to it. The real struggle starts when it comes to dealing with low self-confidence, low self-esteem. In your insecurities are barriers in the way of your success. You need to fix this from damaging yourself. I remember when I first started as a learning and development consultant or trainer, whatever you want to call it, and that was about 14 years ago now. The thought of me having to stand up in front of a group of people and talk was quite scary. I was very low on confidence at that time, but now I don't care. I have spoken to groups with hundreds of people. It has taken me a combination of self-actualization, transformation through applying what I've learned, all of this combined with time. I now have to practice and get more confident delivering myself in front of a camera like this. Some might say, yeah, but you've got training in speaking in front of people or your career, but that's true. Yes, I understand. But it's not the same as speaking in front of a camera for me. So now this is something that affects my confidence and my self-esteem. It's something that I have to get used to. It's something I have to start again that I'm not used to doing. And yes, I might have some of the knowledge, but there'll be a point where I create a video that comes up with all the bloopers and all the mistakes I've made. And trust me, there's shitloads of them. It should be quite entertaining and comical to watch once we make that video. But you'll then understand that me speaking in front of this camera right now at you or whoever's listening, or who's listening, if you're listening for a podcast, then you'll understand that it can affect anybody. Just because what you see doesn't specifically mean that that person is confident or they have high self-esteem. There's probably things within somebody that affects them. We're not all perfect, and like I said at the beginning, none of us were born with unlimited self-esteem or self-confidence. So anyway, today I've got some tips that hopefully might help. In short though, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't happen overnight, guys. It's something you need to work on. Like any personal development, it takes some time. So you have to accept that first. But one of the other things is that I've learned through my experience and through people that I've coached and people I've helped. The number one rule, though, is you have to want to change. If you don't want to change, then you're going to struggle. If it's something that you kind of want to do, but you're not fully committed, then you're probably going to find yourself going backwards or staying the same without any involvement. So it's really, really important that when you decide to make a change about yourself, you fully commit to it and that you genuinely want to change. If you don't want to change and you're not congruent with it, mind, body and soul, then you're probably not going to change. And that's me being completely honest. My experience would tell me from people that I've coached and supported that unless you want to make that change, there's that self-actualization, then you're not going to. It might be small changes, but if you want to make big changes in personal development, you have to want it. And that's really when you can start transforming. A lot of us learn, but not a lot of us actually transform. It's great to have knowledge, but if you're doing fuck all with it, excuse my French, then you're not getting anywhere. Yep. Learning's good. Knowledge is good. Knowledge is power. You know, you hear all this, but if you're not going to do anything with it, but personally, I don't really see the point in having it. And this really kind of fits in with, like I said, anything. and it goes the same hand in hand with building self-esteem, building self-confidence, whatever it is that you're lacking. Okay, so my first tip, identify your competencies and then develop them. Self-esteem is built by demonstrating real ability and achievement in areas of our lives, especially in the areas that matter to us. If you pride yourself on being a good cook, throw more dinner parties. If you're a good runner, sign up for races and then train for them. In short, figure out your core competencies, your strengths, and find opportunities or careers that may highlight them. Number 2, start with small steps. Self-esteem is a cycle and it won't happen overnight. Give yourself some time to heal. Don't get frustrated if you're trying to practice this for a couple of months and you still see no commendable results. Let yourself be filled with self-certainty first. Your brain is recharged with positive energy about yourself, your confidence, everything then will start to flow. Number 3, get rid of thinking pessimistic about yourself. Remember, you are the one credible for the things you are thinking. Be aware of the thoughts you have about yourself. Negative self-talk can make things awful for you. When you catch horrible self-talk, reframe your thoughts with positive ones. Focus on your strengths and then enhance them. Healing your wounded inner self is good enough to raise your confidence level. Talked about self-dialect and self-talk in other episodes. If you'd like me to really do a whole episode on self-dialect, I mean, it's something that I'll probably put a whole series on against in terms of how we talk to ourselves. But if you would like me to do a full episode, then please leave the comments below and I'll look into it for you. Number 4, eliminate self-criticism and introduce self-compassion. Unfortunately, when our self-esteem is low, we are likely to damage it even further by being self-critical. Since our goal is to enhance our self-esteem, we need to substitute self-criticism, which is almost always entirely useless, even if it feels compelling, with self-compassion. Specifically, whenever your self-critical inner monologue kicks in, ask yourself what you would say to a dear friend if they were in your situation. We tend to be much more compassionate to friends or family than we are to ourselves. Then direct those comments to yourself. Doing so will avoid damaging your self-esteem further with critical thoughts and then help build it up instead of damaging it. Number 5, stop comparing yourself. According to Bill Gates, don't compare yourself with anyone in this world. If you do so, you are insulting yourself. Insulting yourself will definitely not assist you in stimulating your self-confidence. Stop setting imaginary standards and accept yourself the way you are. You are you. Present yourself as the best version of yourself. Stop measuring your achievements against someone else's. Focus on what you want and then identify what you need to do to get there. Number 6, accept failures as part of the development. Think of a failure as an opportunity to learn. Get rid of your fear of failure and give yourself a chance. Teach yourself that you are at least able to make an effort without caring about the outcome. Number 7, use positive affirmations correctly. I've done a full episode on affirmations, but there were some bits, I think, when I started to write this, I realised maybe I haven't actually been as specific enough. I think it's helpful what I've put together, but when I wrote this, I thought actually I probably didn't go into as much detail as I could have in one of the areas. So I'll explain this now. So positive affirmations such as I'm going to be a great success are extremely popular, but they have one critical problem. They tend to make people with low self-worth feel worse about themselves. Why? Well, because when our self-esteem is low, such declarations are simply too contrary to our existing beliefs. Ironically, positive affirmations do work for one subset of people, those whose self-esteem is already high. For affirmations to work when your self-esteem is lagging, tweak them to make them a bit more believable. For example, change I'm going to be a great success to I'm going to persevere until I succeed. As you can see, tweaking that and having that as an affirmation is going to help you, especially if you are low on self-esteem or low self-confidence. Now, a lot of the time we use just positive ones that are up here But sometimes that then conflicts with our belief system, and it doesn't help build sometimes. You're kind of just talking to yourself and giving yourself a load of bullshit that you don't believe. And if you don't believe it, guess what? You're going to struggle to make those changes. And number 8, surround yourself with positive energy. Find people who tend to trigger your positive thinking by admiring you. Sounds a bit different maybe, but observe the people around you and think who's helping you in achieving more and who is letting you down. Get rid of negative people, which I've talked about before, but give a shut up call to naysayers, stand tall and start looking for more positivity to fuel you. And that brings me on to my challenge for today. Normally, when we talk about surrounding yourself by the right people, what we don't normally say is surround yourself with the positive energy. And what I mean when I was saying that is, and the people admiring you, is find people that actually admire you. Because this is going to help you build self-esteem. This is a little bit different to what we normally suggest or what you may have heard. If you find people that, and this isn't, you might be saying this to say, well, is this to make me feel good? Well, it kind of is, yeah. That's the point of this. If you want to help with your self-esteem or you're lacking confidence, then you can do this by finding people that admire you as a person. And there will be somebody. If you feel that there isn't, there will be somebody. Find that person, connect with that person, and help that person. Because, right, it might boost your confidence or your esteem, but it will also help the other person. So for me personally, I feel like it's a win-win situation, and it's not selfish, if that's what you may think. If you're watching this and you think, well, and that's what is going around in your head, well, it sounds a bit selfish. I'm just going to help somebody because I think they admire me. That's okay. So long as what you're doing and when you're spending that time with them is you're helping them as well. So my challenge to you is, I want you to write down the top 5 people in your life that trigger your positive thinking and who admire you, who look up to you. Next, I want you to then spend 1 hour a month with each of those people. You can do this via a normal call, a video call, social distancing, however. You'll find that this can help you as well as others. Share your challenge experience with us in the YouTube comments or tag us on Instagram using @RozzaMindset. That's it for today, everyone. Hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed the content, please give it a like. If you would like me to expand on anything that I talk about, please add it in the comments below and I will look into it. If you think this could help anyone you know, then please go ahead and share. And finally, come and join our community on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. All of the links will be in the description below. That's it, guys. This has been Richard Rozza. Stay safe and keep active.